China owns all the data, and you put human experience behind a paywall in which your body is the credit card, right? And then, you own the data forever, you own human experience. But there's another possible goal which has to be looked at, and that's genomics, in which case the tests and the swabs and the vaccines are really, again, a means to create a genomic profile of everyone. And that's why getting the children, this mantra, everyone has to be vaccinated, everyone has to be vaccinated. Well, China has made no secret that they're building a genomic database of every human being on Earth, and they want to be the ones to manage every human being on Earth through medical interventions by the year 2030. And by the same token, Moderna, it's not a vaccine company. They've been in genomics, right? The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, gene CRISPR, gene editing, genomics, the data of everyone's gene markers are the treasure trove for what they're planning for the future. So I don't have the smoking gun. I have tons of links that suggest that this is one goal, but why be obsessed with the children who are not at risk of COVID to make sure you get everyone's data?
Yeah. Welcome to Ask A Podcast. My name is Kimberly Steinbrink, and this is my Cosbro,
Stephen Rosario.
Welcome. Yeah, that one's pretty interesting. It's an interesting thought, interesting discussion, and that lady is a very credible lady. Just saying.
Naomi Wolf.
Yep.
I'm telling you, man, that's scary.
Yeah.
But honest. She, at the end of that video, she said that she doesn't have the smoking gun. Mm-hmm. Well, but she's got a lot of links that can make you critically think and come up with your own decision on it. The 5 or 11-year-olds don't get sick. Okay? And there's enough science behind that to show it, to how low the risk is for that age group. So wouldn't it be just a next critical thought to suggest that the major push behind this, the countries and the companies that are behind this, might have another agenda in line? Mm-hmm. That agenda could be very nefarious, but very practical, like she was talking. Like, they just want to manage us.
I mean, it wouldn't be weird if there was an agenda. I mean, at this point, it would make sense. Yeah. At least that's the part that doesn't make sense, is when people say that they're fully vaccinated and they get COVID and they go, so this is the reason why you should get vaccinated. And you're going, so I can catch COVID and go to the hospital? Or they say that about someone that passes away, the same exact thing. And I'm thinking, so I can die? Oh, why would I get, from that example, why would I get it? That's like a bad example. They're trying to make a good example. Just like, we're going to just double down. We're just saying that that's the reason why you should get it, because it's supposed to make some kind of sense. I mean, it doesn't, and nobody's been able to explain that. I've raised this question on many Twitter boards and threads and things of people who want to promote this, and I'm always asking them, can you show me any actual evidence to this? You say it, and you say, well, because this person said it. Okay, but I need the evidence. Show me why I should feel that way. Why I should feel that way whenever somebody just dies or gets in the hospital really bad with COVID and could possibly die. This is why you should get vaccinated.
Yeah. Not just a cheap, lame moral argument. You should love that person and be vaccinated. You should care enough about that person. And I bet they don't talk like that, because we down here talk like that. Yeah. But some of the liberal brothers around here, they talk like this. Hey, brother, you need to care about that neighbor of yours. Go ahead and get that shot.
But I don't want to roll the dice on my life.
Just do it.
You know what I mean?
Oh, just do it. Hey, do you want to work? Do you want a job? Just do it.
Nah. You can have
anyway,
the job.
That's getting too close to home right there, man. They're trying to make us, my company, mandate it by January 4th. I'm going to have that shot if I want to work for bleep, 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 bleep. I'm not going to say it right now.
No, it's not Nickelodeon.
I will never work for Nickelodeon.
Unless you have a foot fetish. You'd be You fit
Unless
perfect in there.
they bring that slime show back. If they bring the slime show back, I will definitely work.
What would you do?
Oh, dang. Is that what it was called?
I sat and watched some YouTube. What would you do? The arcade game, whenever Nick Arcade, where you get to, at the end, you get to actually be in the video game if you won out of the two people.
Flashbacks, bro. That is nostalgic. Oh, bro.
You know, I was the Nickelodeon girl. I watched Nickelodeon more than almost anything else. I watched it pretty much all day.
Little stick guy.
Yeah, but that was back in the day when you could have normal shows that talk about
you
normal
were Nick
things,
at Night.
and you aren't like
Nick at Night.
Nick at Night, baby. Oh, I love Dick Van Dyke. And
we got some Goldberg footage. We got some old time video camera footage.
Cotter, and
She's talking over me because she knows I got some of those videos, and
I used to force them to watch the shows that I love to watch, and they just have to watch it with me. I'm like,
hey, we're the monkeys. People say we monkey around. Yeah. And I don't even know the.
Okay. How did we get on monkeys? Anyway.
Vaccine talk, man.
Bye,
that
David
vaccine
Jones.
talk will go anywhere. It'll take you.
We had to have a laugh, though. We had to have a laugh after something like that. I'm sorry. That kind of stuff, it just makes me so upset that I really do actually get speechless.
Well, we have children,
I get speechless where
dude.
I'm just like, yeah, where I'm thinking it hits so close to home.
A lot of these people out here don't have children, but I mean...
Yeah, some do. Some don't, and it can...
If you have children, I mean, you are more likely to question why make them get this vaccine.
Yeah, because they're in my charge. And if something happens to them, or like my daughter, if something happened to her, it would be on me. And then I would live with that for the rest of my life. And I would not have my daughter to grow up and have grandkids. You know, it's like we're actually thinking of the person, the little person that's within our trust, you know, and whatever, that's what made me sad. I saw somebody posted a video of somebody showing a vaccine area where kids were then allowed to start getting it. And it had the kids dragged in there by their parents, you know. And then this one mom, there was a story where this one mom, she first showed the story about how her son thought it was just a normal physical to go to football. And she didn't tell him that she was getting him the vaccine. He didn't want it. And then all of a sudden, 2 days later, it shows him under the cover. I mean, like, he was sick.
How about that?
And I'm just like, why are you going to roll the dice for that? Like, I'm sorry, I'm not. I'm going to keep my child healthy. I'm going to keep me healthy and do what the best that I feel is best for my family.
Yeah. Hey, I'm being practical as you can be. When I start seeing deaths in that age range, I might think more closely and do more research into Moderna, Pfizer, and the vaccine. I would do more research into it. Talk with doctors, because if I saw more deaths in the 3 to 14-year-old range, which is where all my 4 kids are, if I saw that happening, I would research it. But
that's the point.
That's not happening. So don't make 28 million. How much a dose? I mean,
what's crazy is not only are they not getting it, it's not hurting them as bad. They're not going to feel it as bad. They hardly even transmit it. That was proven in 2020, like right at the beginning. Yeah. Kids shouldn't be masked because they're not transmitting as much as adults.
I think they got that news out there.
They don't produce as much viral load. But I mean, you got all this stuff coming up that way. There's not a lot to them if they get COVID. But if they get the vaccine, and a lot of times with even healthy younger adults, with the vaccine, you get sick. With the vaccine, you could die a lot more.
Right.
Go and look at the VAERS charts. It shows with the deaths, I think it was 81,000 deaths from the vaccine. Damn. And it breaks it down between age group, but that's just period. That's just from the reported, which means it's probably underreported. So this is the kind of stuff that when we think about, they say, oh, you're hesitant. Well, okay, I'm gonna be hesitant. I mean, that's pretty given. If
I'm more than
not
hesitant.
Gonna just straight
I'm
trust
smart.
someone. I'm gonna be hesitant and think about it. I'm gonna have common sense and take it through my little brain cells a couple times.
Use it.
Wrinkly brain over here is gonna think about it a little bit more.
Give me a couple wrinkles in my brain on this vaccine, and
we
then,
all need them wrinkles.
Hey, then I'll make my decision.
But I mean, just staying abreast.
But you're not gonna make my decision.
No, I don't. Nobody, even my mother, I love her to death. But if I don't agree with it, especially when it comes to my daughter, I will even tell my mother, no, I don't think that's a good idea. Even my mother, who is very wise and I love her to death, but if I don't agree with it, I'm not going to do it. And she knows that. And at the same time, it's like, that's why if I'm going to say that to her because I don't agree with something, then unless I'm going out searching for it, you can't just tell me to do something. Just tell me to trust it.
You think
I don't know you?
Biden gonna tell me to do something? Man, Mama won't tell me to do nothing.
Exactly.
But I listen to my mama. I love
you, Mom.
But yeah, I respectfully.
You know what I mean. She knows what I mean.
Respectfully disagree a lot of times. But I wanted to make a point though. Give us news early. That's what I read.
Give you news early.
I'm gonna see if that sparks my memory, and it did. But that data that they gave us early in the COVID pandemic, like kids are non-susceptible, masks, you don't have to wear them. Fauci saying in March of 2020. I'm just saying all that news was given to us very early. Yeah. Because they know that a lot of us have short attention spans, which is why we got to write stuff down as we do stuff so we can just remember what we were talking about. So they gave us that news early. So they can go, well, we said that. If they get, I don't know why they're
able to flip flop. They're
or just so we can forget,
so they can say that they're. See, what they forget is internet is forever. Everybody knows what date and time.
Love it, and I hate it.
Everybody knows you can record, you can keep, you can store in your phone. I'm just like they forget this and they keep going and think that people aren't catching up. See, they think they can just get away with it and just push through.
But the only way that they can win is if they turn this off. Yeah. If they cut this off, where we can't talk back and forth like this. The only way that
they think that they can win because they're trying to get that cut off.
Yeah.
But it's not really the only way they're going to win. And this is just a start.
That's right. We're going to have to hook up with the people that can keep this going underground,
Yep.
Oh, Hacky over there.
Excuse me.
There's a big old loogie on the floor. I'm just kidding.
Sorry. I've seen even the most professional podcasters
loogie on the floor.
Do strange things like that, little weird body sounds, and I'm just like, okay. At least I'm not doing this with like 100,000 followers or more.
No, it's like 2 other people going.
Maybe no. Actually, it has been getting pretty good. So I'm glad you guys are sharing it and watching it. We appreciate you guys, everybody. Oh man, that's here.
They sure won't when they see the ending video.
No, you will.
Whitest rappers alive.
This pessimist. Anyway, I'm going to pull us into the first topic because the first one that we have, I'm going to go through small incremental amounts. It's not going to be long periods of time in between because I actually didn't get to all of this one tweet thread that Chip Roy tweeted out on Friday that basically does not allow the memory hole to memory hole, and how everything's been connected over these last 10 months that Biden's been in the administration. I've only got to a few, some that are a little more relevant to this topic here, but I am going to post the full thread from his tweet so you can see all of the links there that I was using, and be able to research it and have it yourself. I'll have it in the description. So let's get into it. Here is the original. It says, American people have been subjected to absolutely insane levels of lying, misinformation, and dishonesty from the Biden administration over the last 10 months. Since the corporate media has no real interest in pointing it out, here's a list. Thread. Let's start with the lie that Biden went and called for a federal vax mandate. Then President-elect Biden said in December of 2020, "No, I don't think it should be mandatory. I wouldn't demand it to be mandatory." We all saw how that turned out. Yeah, and we did. So the next one is going back to COVID response. Also, we've been sold a load of garbage over Biden's vaccine mandate. To begin, while this mandate makes no consideration for the natural immunity, a recent CDC admission points how effective it actually is versus a vaccine. I will go ahead and put up, this is a Freedom of Information Act request. And basically, it says, documents reflecting any documented case of an individual who, 1, never received a COVID-19 vaccine, 2, was infected with COVID-19 once, recovered, and then later became infected again, and 3, transmitted SARS-CoV-2 to another person when reinfected. So that's what their claim is. They have to say here, a search of our records failed to reveal any documents pertaining to your request. The CDC Emergency Operations Center conveyed that the information is not collected. So basically, the claim that they were making that they didn't know if the natural immunity was as effective as the vaccine, they actually see that there was no document saying that if you get reinfected, and haven't had a vaccine, you aren't likely spreading it. Okay. Which means the vaccinated, notice how all vaccinated people, if they're supposed to not be spreading it, why would they then get it? If they're vaccinated, they're supposed to be protected from spreading it, which is supposed to be at least they're not spreading it. And now they're pointing out they have no records of a natural immune person spreading COVID, where they do on the other side.
Right.
And so it's kind of pointing this out that
it's good evidence that if you've had the virus, that you're the one not spreading it. Yeah. Is that what they're saying November 5th of 2021?
Yes,
is that
that's
what they're saying a week ago? They had to come out
and bring out the Freedom of Information request made by this person, this attorney over here for, I'm not sure who it's for, but that's who it's addressed
to. Freedom of Information, man,
can
we gotta love having that.
If you want to find something out, you can always request the Freedom of Information. I mean, actual regular citizens can actually do it. You just have to know how to do it. I've never actually done it, but I know that you can.
Awesome.
So there's a few more to go over, and I'm just going to kind of go through this little list kind of fast because, like I said, I don't think I got to about 20 of them. There's so many of them. So the next
It's hard to keep a list of how much misinformation that they're putting out. I'm amazed how much
he got here.
Yeah.
There was a lot of stuff I forgot about, to be honest with you, and I keep up with this very, very much. Okay, so case in point, we were told you're not going to get COVID if you have these vaccinations. Now we're being told that people have to get vaccinated to protect the already vaccinated, which doesn't make any hill of sense, man.
Anyway.
So this is our awesome president. President says, "Well, I'm saying, look, it's a little bit like when I got elected. You know, this pandemic out of control. You know, we've lost more people in the United States, over 630 some thousand people in every major war we've ever fought. Really? In the United States of America, and that's come to a screeching halt for those who have been vaccinated." See? It really has. Not a joke. This is overwhelming evidence to sustain that. Where, Mr. President? Where is the overwhelming evidence? And so, what I say to people who are worried about the new pandemic is get vaccinated. If you're vaccinated, even if you do catch the virus, quote unquote, like people talk about in normal terms, you're in not many people do. I would hate to have the transcriber's job, man.
This is
if you do,
transfer.
You're not likely to get sick. You're probably going to be symptomless. You're not going to be in a position where your life is in danger. So it's really kind of basic.
Yeah. So don't get mad at anybody for not having the vaccine, is what he's saying right there. Don't get mad, because if you're vaccinated, I mean, you're not going to get any serious symptoms.
You're supposed to be
so
protected.
Be okay with those dirty unvaccinated people. You're good.
I had people literally, like when I knew that they probably got vaccinated, they had been in a mask when I was so not in a mask. And I was like, sorry, I'm just not wearing a mask. And they were like, it's okay, I'm vaccinated. And, in my head, I'm thinking, okay.
That was just
but you know what?
4
That's
months
how they
ago.
felt.
I was like,
how do they feel
this
now?
summer that was going on.
How do they feel now? I mean, they kind of got duped. They got duped about saying, hey, this is going to protect everybody and all that kind of stuff. And like, seriously, if it makes you feel as if it's going to help you, that is your choice. And I love you for it. Like, that's me too. Like,
yeah.
Not looking down on you thinking that. And some people feel as if they have a need of wanting to be extra protected and they feel that that's going to help them. I always say it's at least good if you're comfortable about doing it, then do it. Imagine though, if you weren't comfortable about getting that shot that you got and that you did hear about other people dying and that you may possibly be in that category when they got vaccinated, put yourself in those shoes. Those are shoes to put in.
We're just looking for some
I just don't want to die. Like, I don't want to die or get permanently injured because, you took that vaccine. Hey, we found out 2 years later that you've had a brain tumor. Yeah. It was all caused by the vaccine. I'm not saying that it is. I'm saying that we don't have enough research to know what this is going to do. This hasn't been out there long enough. This is not a vaccine that protects transmission of it. Does it protect you if you get it?
Their words.
It's not a vaccine. It's not. It's a protection. They're going to also, I'm going to bring up here in a second, remember when they wanted to chastise anyone for taking ivermectin? And yet, while there's a new push to vaccinate 5 to 11-year-old kids, including Big Bird, there's very little discussion on the myocarditis risks. Find this stuff out. Okay, we're going to keep going. All right, so the 5 to 11 vax. Here was the article that was reposted. This article is from Wall Street Journal, and it's Should I Vaccinate My 5 to 11-year-old? And I will just tell you, just me personally, I don't trust most of these numbers because a lot of times they throw out numbers that are like debunked in a week. The risk is extremely low either way. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimates that 42% of U.S. children 5 to 11 had COVID by June 2021, before the Delta wave, a prevalence that is likely greater than 50% today. Of 28 million children in that age range, 94 died of COVID since the pandemic began. Okay. Including deaths before newer treatments. And 562 have been hospitalized with COVID infections. Now, I'm going to tell you and remind you again, this is 28 million children in that age range. Okay, so you got to take it from that perspective. Serious complications are so uncommon in this age range that 2,186 children in the Pfizer vaccine study, no child in either the vaccine or the placebo group developed serious illness from COVID. 16 of the 663 unvaccinated children developed COVID infections, compared with only 3 of the 1,305 vaccinated ones, an effectiveness rate of 90.7% against infection. Thus, it's safe to assume that vaccinating a healthy child would take his extremely low risk of serious disease and drive it down even lower. Okay, I love how they don't include what's really popping out with this age range. Right now, myocarditis is huge. It's not huge in older, especially females. It's huge in younger males, like young kids, and ones that are obviously very healthy a lot of times. And this is even going to the adults. I mean, people who exercise a lot, people who do. This is not, to me, I think it's against anyone who does. The more healthy you are, I feel like the vaccine could actually affect you in one way or another a little more than if you have comorbidities. I just believe, I feel like there's something there, but because we can't have these discussions, I can't get these questions actually answered. I'm not satisfied with the answer I'm getting from the mainstream media, from the White House, and from all the people that think they have power. I'm not believing any one of them, And so they shut down any other conversation that could actually point me in the same direction. But I'm sorry, just kind of, the optics are getting so bad. I don't care if you're right or wrong. You freak me out. I mean, it's just getting to the freak out point. Like, it's freaky and scary and spooky, and you act like it's not any big deal. And that's what's even more scary.
Yeah. It's because reasonable people are wanting reasonable arguments against their worries, against their, hesitations against, or the hesitant. Yeah, like they said, that we're being hesitant, but we're being reasonable.
Yeah.
We're wanting a reasonable response.
I would want someone who is hesitant to get the vaccine over one who's not, just because they must have done the research and felt that it was their choice, and they're wanting of doing that because they figured it was going to be a good thing.
I got a few friends that have taken the vaccine, and they're Christian friends. They're fellow Christians. Mm-hmm. So, one argument that I cannot argue with them is they believe that God will protect their body no matter what goes in them. I cannot argue that with my Christian brother.
But can I say something to that?
Yeah.
If that's going to be God protecting you, then why are they not protecting you from COVID, period? If it's going to protect you for something going in your body, well, I mean, if it transmits and go in your body, wouldn't he then protect you at that point? Because it doesn't mean, he doesn't say nobody's going to die. Yeah. People die. People die every day.
There's your argument. I'm just saying, it's infiltrated into. That's the main reason I am here and involved in this, is because it has infiltrated into my church family.
Yeah.
Now, all these political discussions, now, it's always been divisive, but this vaccine and mask wearing and the health of us, now that it has become so divisive within the church family, I'm out here wanting to get our voice and our unity back together, because we've got to not get to that point of letting them divide us on whether we're vaccinated or unvaccinated. Yeah. That segregation does not need to start here in America.
And that's what and to be honest, that's what I'm not talking about a person that made a virus or a person that made a vaccine, but they, meaning the people that see this as a power grab, they're excited about that. They're excited about the everybody, it's kind of forcing you to go, hey, why don't you just do it so we can just move along and keep going with our lives? Yeah. No.
Yeah, and we don't want to get it so far to where our Christian brothers and sisters that feel like they need the vaccine, to where they'll get on the combative side of fighting us, that feel like we want God to control this no matter what. Even so, come a bad, horrible pandemic, I would rather God's created virus that just happened in the earth attack me and take me away, rather than a man's created virus protection shot take me out. I would much rather die from this God-created virus than any Pfizer, Moderna, man-created.
And I'll even caveat
vaccine.
that to say that I'm not. I mean, up until this, I wasn't necessarily anti-vax. I mean, I did.
True that.
I mean, I wasn't anti-vax. In fact, I had friends that were, that like. And I understand there's always going to be risks.
Yeah, now I hate it. All my kids, all my kids are vaccinated right now.
The ones that my child has been vaccinated from are the ones that can hurt them the most in her age category. Like, there was at least a reason. To me, the COVID vaccine has pretty much 99.999% of the kids aren't going to need it. So why risk their life at this point with? It's not just the myocarditis. That's just the biggest number.
Yeah.
There's permanent,
and
there's
the
permanent
oddest
brain stuff. There's permanent, not walking anymore. There's permanent seizures. Yeah. It's permanent stuff. And these are with kids. Like, you're willing to risk and roll the dice for that for your child.
Africa's not.
And they're doing it in babies now, by the way. You know, they did 5
India's
to 11.
not willing for that. Africa and India aren't.
Because there's some Moderna. Did you hear about the Moderna coming back?
Yeah, but they've seen it already. We haven't seen that type of death over vaccine and EAUs. All right? Did I emergency authorized use? EAUs. I did okay.
Hey, you got it.
Yeah. But Africa and India has seen it. We haven't seen it yet, and I don't want to see it. We don't need to get there. We don't need to get where they're testing all this, and then our kids end up sick years later.
Yeah, I don't want to roll that dice. I wouldn't be a part of, like, if this was something that even was hurting kids worse, I still wouldn't put my child as a part of the, I feel like she's a lab rat in a way. That's why I would never be a part of those trials because I don't know what's going on. And I don't want to, I'm too scared and be praying to get the placebo. I'm just saying.
Well, that goes back to your point about anti-vaxxer. I wasn't an anti-vaxxer before this. I don't want to say I am I'm not willing to cross that, bridge yet to say I'm anti-vaccine. But with them going so hard at this, it has, and I know I'm not the only one. Everybody, there's a lot more people awake now. Now I'm really looking at an anti-vaxxer's points. And I'm really considering them.
I know. Isn't that weird? That's weird because I was, like I said, I had friends that were that way. And I always thought it was yeah, but these have been tested. And most of the time, it at least helps your kid not die from something. In my head, I would just think that. I'm but it was because those were proven.
Right.
They were proven and been tested. And the majority of the time, the doctor knew of whatever your child had that would make it bad.
You know what? And the enemy is counterfeiting. We've trusted in these vaccines that we've actually seen research and seen tests done that show positive health reactions and positive stats towards the measles and all these other vaccines. But now the enemy's coming along and wanting to get that trust and use it for something evil. I truly feel like this COVID-19 thing just came on the scene.
It's whether it was planned or not, there's obvious power grabs trying to continue to be pressed, and then people push back, and then they just want to oppress harder. And some people are falling for it, some people aren't. And I mean, who knows where this is going to go? I mean, at this point, it's just.
And I don't mean to say falling for it like you're an idiot if you think that you need to get vaccinated.
They make you feel that way. And if you aren't already thinking something's weird, then you may actually be led that direction. And my point is, I'm not trying to say you're dumb. I'm trying to say, here's some evidence on the other side. Here's what I found out over here. And even if I'm right or wrong, another point of mine is to research it, look it up for yourself. Something about reading those black and white words that you're going, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. And CDC's admitting this, and this is happening here. And
just respect us enough.
You notice they didn't actually put that out, but it is something that's in their thing. Somebody else, whoever got it, is the one that put it out.
No,
they're not going to put it out.
You ain't going to get that on MSNBC. You ain't going to get that on CNN. But
it's not going to come out. Internet is forever, guys. Just let you know. By the way, have you seen some of these new videos coming out with the CEO of Pfizer, trying to say that we anti-vaxxers should be criminals and labeled criminals?
Oh, dang. No.
Yeah. I can't wait. By the way, teaser. We're going to have a special where we are going to be talking about not only the COVID restrictions and all the crazy COVID power grabs, but also the vaccines and maybe some research that you haven't heard of, and asking the question why we aren't hearing these other researches from other very accredited people, but just it's not the right people, I guess. But, these people need to come out because, like I said, there's going to be some little snippets, but they need to be investigated by someone who can actually investigate and fully find out if these are real, why they're real, what they are, and we need to start having these conversations.
Yes, we are going to demand this debate. This is a debate that must happen in these United States.
Yeah.
You cannot push any of this federal type mandate stuff without having the debate from the science community. Yes, the science. We're going to follow the science and we're going to have this debate. We demand it.
All right, another little tweet from the thread. Let's see. Then there was the massive whirlwind of lies about ivermectin not being meant for human consumption. Never mind that it received a Nobel Prize in 2015 for its applications in treating human disease. You want to see it, guys? You want to see it? This is so crazy. So here is the so it was back in October of 2015 from the Nobel Assembly. It was awarded the Nobel Prize in Psychology and Medicine, half to William C. Campbell and Satoshi Omura for their discoveries concerning a novel therapy against infections caused by roundworm parasites, and the other half to Yu, I hope this way you say that, for her discoveries concerning a novel therapy against malaria. I think I've heard that many times where they were saying people taking malaria, taking that drug, that they didn't really have a lot of symptoms with COVID. Diseases caused by parasites, keyword, parasites have plagued humankind for millennia and constitute a major global health problem. In particular, parasitic diseases affect the world's poorest populations and represent a huge barrier to improving human health. I'm going to say it again. To improving human health. You ready to say it? Improving human health.
Humane.
And well-being. This year's Nobel laureates have developed therapies that have revolutionized the treatment of some of the most devastating parasitic diseases. This was an award winning for humans. I want to say it again. For humans, y'all. It says it in 2015. Okay, that's a few years before COVID. It was treated in humans. That's why they won the prize, which is why obviously the people saying that they're taking it are not taking the dewormer. And if you are, like most other people, I would think you're a little crazy because it's made for a horse. I'm just saying. But I do know that ivermectin, the pills for malaria and for parasitic diseases, all of a sudden, I mean, we've heard of it's in the poorest countries, right? Yeah. That's where they're having a lot of those. So that's where ivermectin came in. So they take those things like they're candy.
Yeah. And 2015, just a rabbit trail, 2015 was before Trump.
Yep.
So they were willing to, let it be known, hey, cool, this guy gets a, Nobel Peace Prize. Good job. No parasites in our body, man. This is fighting against it. But that was before Trump. Yeah. I mean,
it's just funny how it helps fight off parasitic diseases, and that's one of the main things that's really helping.
God is good.
Parasitic.
Okay.
I'm just saying, we need debates, guys. We need debates so our heads. I'm just saying. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. I need a debate to be able to get my head straight, or my head will go like this because I'll think a million things because I don't agree with one thing. Yeah. You see what I'm saying?
If there's one good thing that came out of Trump, it's that it's got the Americans awake, man. Yeah. And that's all God wanted. If that's all God used Trump for was to go, wake up, America. Mm-hmm. You're the last little bit. You're the last little light on a hill. You're going to put yourself out? Are you going to actually put a basket over you and go along with the world? Or are you going to stand up for my law and light this globe up again?
Speak light and let it shine.
I mean, the Lord, God's truth going to be spread regardless.
Exactly.
I mean,
it's the truth.
It is, man. But I mean, come on, America. To my point, Trump. Hey, man, if you can hate it or love it, you can hate him or love him. mean, that, think we need to unite under Jesus Christ. That's what we need to do. And if you keep him first in every thought, we will be better. Period. We are not going to get worse at this Christian thing. You know, you can look all at the past and crusades and all that kind of stuff and hate on Christians for that, or a human that hurt you because they took a doctrine too far and they judged you. But a true Christian, Antioch, King James Christian, we're getting it right. We are going with the Holy Spirit, and we're learning as we go. These brains are wrinkling as we speak. God is letting this information out for a reason, to wake up all you wonderful people out there that he still wants to save. Don't fall into man's plans.
And just keep talking to him. He will lead you the way you're supposed to go.
Amen.
He will.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to keep going because there's a
good,
a couple
huh?
more, man. There's a couple more. This is a crazy thread because y'all, this is the first 10 months of Biden's presidency. We're not even a whole year in. So just buckle up for the ride. I'm just saying. Buckle up for the ride. Okay. Next, we have gain of function. Fauci called Senator Paul a liar and said that the NIH did not fund dangerous gain of function research at the Wuhan lab. Now we know this to be false. A top NIH official admitted in a Wednesday letter that the U.S. taxpayers funded gain-of-function research on bat coronaviruses in Wuhan.
Busted.
And revealed that EcoHealth Alliance, the U.S. nonprofit that funneled NIH money to the Wuhan Institute of Virology, was not transparent about the work it was doing. In the letter to the Representative James Corner of Kentucky, Lawrence A. Kabik of the NIH cites a limited experiment that was conducted to test if spike proteins from naturally occurring bat coronaviruses circulating in China were capable of binding to human ACE2 receptor in a mouse model. We've heard of the mouse. We've heard of the lab-grown lungs. Yeah. The laboratory mice infected with the modified bat virus became sicker than those infected with the unmodified bat virus. The revelation vindicates Republican Senator Rand Paul, who got into a heated exchanges with National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease Director Anthony Fauci during his May and July testimonials before Congress over the gain-of-function question. At the second hearing, Paul accused Fauci of misleading Congress by denying that the U.S. had funded gain-of-function projects at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Gain-of-function research involves extracting viruses from animals and artificially engineering them in a laboratory to make them more transmittable or deadly to humans. In keeping with Fauci's refusal to use gain-of-function, Tabak avoids the term, though the work he describes matches its commonplace definition precisely. Well, of course it does. Of course it does, dude. Okay, I have to get off of Fauci before I really do I start losing it, man. But the only thing, y'all, this is the next one. I just kind of have to do this one. This one's good. But that's not all of the good doctor's dishonesty. Here's a reminder of how Fauci went back and forth on masks, changing his advice to fit the political narrative of the movement. This is clearly not about science or your health. It's about compliance.
People should not be walking around with masks. Let me just state for the record that masks are not theater. Wearing a mask might make people feel a little bit better. And masks are protective. But it's not providing the perfect protection that people think that it is.
There has not been any indication that putting a mask on and wearing a mask for a considerable period of time has any deleterious effects.
There are unintended consequences. People keep fiddling with the mask and they keep touching their face.
And can you get some schmutz sort of staying inside there?
Of course.
You do not need to wear a mask indoors if, in fact, you've been vaccinated. But good that you're vaccinated, but in a situation where you have people indoors, particularly crowded, you should wear a mask.
So even if you are vaccinated, you should wear a mask. That if, in fact, you are vaccinated, fully vaccinated, you are protected, and you do not need to wear a mask outdoors or indoors. When the children go out into the community, you want them to continue to wear masks.
You know, if you look at children outside, particularly when they're with the family, walking down the street, playing a game or what have you, don't have to wear a mask.
The Academy of Pediatric actually makes that recommendation that children should be wearing masks from 2 years old onward.
And you're asking now, if your child is a member of your household, can you walk outdoors with your child without a mask? According to that chart, the answer is yes.
But the child can't, not to beat it to death.
Yeah. Yes, yes.
Okay. Because now the CDC says, I mean, I think I've got this right. 1 mask is better than 0 masks. 2 masks is better than 1 mask. But you don't have to have double masks. Is that right? I mean,
you know, it became clear that cloth coverings that you didn't have to buy in a store, that you could make yourself, were adequate. And then you want it to fit better. So one of the ways you could do it, if you would like to, is put a cloth mask over, which actually here and here and here, where you could get leakage in, is much better contained.
Are you a double masker, Dr. Fauci? It looked like you are.
Exactly. Stop flip-flopping so much. You wonder why people don't trust this.
No, we're with it,
you
buddy.
Wonder? Do you really wonder?
Yeah, we're on to you. We're on to you.
All right, so a little
and
bit
hopefully
of a
everybody who watched that, I hope that was close enough, short enough attention to show you the peddling of information.
Oh, these people have long attention spans, I can promise you. I sit there and pick apart stuff.
Now, one thing I noticed in there was the chart he put up, you know, and showing the green and it. Yeah. Look, aren't y'all sick of seeing those charts, man? Like that's one thing of mine. I see the chart when they started with the 6 foot social distancing charts.
That was arbitrary, by the way.
Stickers on the ground. I mean,
they said themselves the thing with the 6 foot, it was arbitrary. There was no reasoning for the 6 foot.
I just don't see how that didn't make somebody feel uncomfortable. Like it was such a programming thing. It's just telling you every time you walked in, it's a glass.
Yep.
You know, it's right in your face. It's a posting.
And you feel pressured to do it because you don't want to cause a scene. You don't. And to be honest, these are usually put up by either corporate or someone. So I didn't want to sit there and chew out.
Hey.
I couldn't stand the people that did chew out the people for a mask. You know, I'm not gonna wear a mask and videotape it and all that stuff. That's not them. They're not saying it. Their company's saying it. But my thing is, so if they say that, turn around, walk out, and go home, and don't spend your money there. That's how it's going to show the people that are actually putting these in there is them not getting the money from you.
Yeah.
Enough people do that, and they go, maybe not.
Yeah, and they'll pay attention to if that grocery store or if that restaurant has a lot of sick people happening, because didn't we know about, you know, if somebody gets Ebola or not Ebola, salmonella or something like that, you know, the little foodborne illness, we're paying attention. So if we notice that grocery store, oh man, some sick people been coming from there, man, they don't wear masks, they don't let you wear masks. Well, maybe it's because you ain't wearing a mask and they're getting sick out there. But it's not happening like that. We're not. That's not.
But
happening.
if you listen to Fauci from back in the 80s, I mean, he used to try to claim that touching things in the household, kids could get adults sick from this. And like if you touched a cereal box and someone else touched a cereal box and then they had AIDS, you could get AIDS. They literally were putting that out there. They weren't actually saying the reason that you get AIDS.
Programming the fear. I think it's programming the fear.
It's the same person, and he's making the same stupid claims, and we haven't. I mean, I wasn't really. I mean, I was a kid back during this time, but I've seen now so many things from back then that these people who were adults back then, how do they trust the same person that said all this about how you catch AIDS, and they were supposed to be the authority back then? But people knew, and there was actual evidence that came out, and there was an on-top agenda on top of it. And that's how we found out how you can transmit and contract AIDS and figure it out so people can stop dying from it and actually figure out actual ways to cure it. Because believe me, that's another subject for another day.
We just forgot.
Yeah.
And they kept the same guy that they can pull and do the puppet strings on was Fauci. They could,
Yeah.
you're not going to get a lot of
Between
guys that will
Fauci
be.
and Biden.
You just ain't getting. They can't get a hold of that many guys that's going to be that deceptive and just keep that
Oh,
person.
they do. They have them in inner circles,
Yeah.
and they usually have grown up together. And they're, I mean, if you look into some of these places these people have graduated from, and other people have graduated from around the same year, around the same time, they're all working together. They all have known each other since, even going to school sometimes.
Skull and Bones.
Yeah, really. We've even had presidents that have been a part of these groups.
Lots of
them. So here's a little bit of a switch up because you had all that going on. Now we've got the border. When asked about whether he was planning on allocating $450,000 to individual illegal immigrants, Biden said that's not going to happen. His handlers at the White House quickly clarified. This is what he said. Here we go with the translation again. About the way forward, Mr. President, this is the person asking. As you were leaving for your overseas trip, there were reports that were surfacing that your administration is planning to pay illegal immigrants who separated from their families at the border up to $450,000 each, possibly $1 million per family. Do you think that might incentivize more people to come over illegally? Hey, it'd incentivize me if that was the case. I'm just saying.
I'm wanting to go to Mexico and become a citizen and then come over here.
So we can get money. If you guys, the president said, if you guys keep sending that garbage out, yeah, but it's not true. And so the person asks, so this is a garbage report? President says, yeah. Reporter says, okay, so the president says $450 per person. Is that what you're saying? The reporter says that was separated from a family member at the border under last administration. The president, that's not going to happen.
I couldn't even follow with that.
I mean, it's just because he doesn't make any sense. It's hard to ask him a question. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, so this is his last tweet. I thought it was good. Bottom line, all this is just sampling from Biden's first 10 months in office. We'll continue to update this as needed. I'm so glad he is.
And like you said, this wasn't, you only picked out a few of what Chip Roy actually listed tons more.
Oh, yeah.
Than that.
And I mean, because I was thinking maybe I can get most of these on there. And when I got to that last one, I kept looking down. I'm like, I think I left off like 12 or 13 that I didn't get on there. Because there's so many, and there's some that he didn't even put on there, but those were good ones. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he said that he's going to continue this thread. I hope so. I'm going to put the thread down in the description so you can follow it, and hopefully if it gets updated, know more.
Follow and share.
He says there's sure to be no shortage of Biden lies and misinfo going forward. Yeah, I'm sure there, Mr. Roy.
Just a small list of 10 months of lies.
Yeah. So I'm going to switch it up a little bit with some encouraging news and start it off by saying, so we have the Rittenhouse case. We'll discuss this case next week. I want to see if it kind of comes to fruition before we actually say anything about it. You know that he broke down in testimony when he testified. And then you had LeBron James tweet out with a picture of him crying. Rittenhouse, not LeBron. What tears? All I see is crocodile tears, and I wish I had the tweet up here. But I'm sitting there.
He said that boy ate a bunch of lemon heads.
Yeah, that's he ate a bunch of lemon heads before he came in. I'm like, okay, so a person who, and I don't really watch basketball that much, but I know what was it a few months ago that there was a string of him getting injured over somebody almost just tapping him, and I'm crying, walking off the court. And there's tons of pictures of him going, with cross-eyed eyes. I'm like, boy, you were soft. Yeah. What are you talking about?
You play basketball.
This is obviously a 17-year-old kid at the time reliving a year ago when he almost died 3 or 4 times trying to protect a community. You don't think you'd have a little bit of PSD when people are trying to call for you being jail raped
Yeah.
Or
you don't think that
seriously?
you would post that you don't think you would post those same comments when you saw Adam Schiff and the other crazy them other people crying up there because of the January 6th incident?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
They didn't even have a gun held up to them or a gun in their hands.
No, and nobody even came through with guns. No one came through with guns.
Yet you didn't even blink.
Yeah.
At any of those tears.
AOC was not even in the building.
But this dude, and you could use your platform to say, man, this is just a horrible incident, man. I hate that this teenager's up here had to, if he is telling the truth, man, I hate that he's having to go through that, or these families that, got shot by this kid. But, I hate all of the situation. You can't use your platform to spread any type of unity. No, you're in with that divisive
because
crew.
He's bought by the Chinese.
That's right.
There's
bought
certain
and paid
people
for
bought by the Chinese, and I'm bringing that up as a fact. So we've got the basketball player LeBron James, who's bought by the Chinese, and then we've got a fresh new person to look at. And I'm going to play this right here. I want to see what you think, Stephen. I did not show this to you before because I want to see if it hit you the way it hit me.
All right.
Okay.
The Kanter in the middle, left Kanter, easy buck Kanter.
He just got a great instinct.
Kanter leading the team.
Xi Jinping, the insecure, brutal dictator. Hear us from all the way in China. My message to you is free the Uyghurs. My Uyghurs brothers and sisters, my message to you is stay strong and keep asking the Chinese Communist Party, where is my father? Where is my mother? Where are my brothers and sisters? And where is my family?
Now the BBC has seen evidence that shows Uyghurs are also being sent en masse into the cotton fields.
The mass incarceration of more than 1 million Uyghurs and Kazakhs by the Chinese government has led to international outrage.
China has spent hundreds of millions of dollars building at least 90 new compounds like these. People can be imprisoned for many reasons, or none at all.
China is committing genocide and crimes against humanity in your own land because you are Uyghur. Do not stop until every single one of you have your freedom and self-determination.
They were 3 men. Not 1, but 3. They did whatever evil their mind could think of, and they didn't spare any part of my body, biting it to the extent that it was disgusting to look at.
Han Chinese men would pay money to have their pick of the pretty young inmates. My job is to remove their clothes and then handcuff them on their beds so they cannot move.
My message to my Tibetan brothers and sisters. Tibet belongs to Tibetans. My brothers and sisters from Hong Kong, my message to you is free Hong Kong. You are not Chinese and you are not British. You are Hong Kongers. So stay strong and stay brave, please. As an NBA athlete, it's saddening, disgraceful, and disgusting to see them remain silent about China. And that's why I will not be silent. History is written in 2 ways. One, you can sit on your couch and watch how it is written. Or 2, you can go out and do something and write history. Think about our sister, brothers, and mothers and fathers who are suffering right now in China. They are looking at the sky and asking, who is going to help us? If you hear us, if you hear me, this is the beginning of a new generation of hope. So, to my message to our elected officials, We need action. Don't just talk about it, be about it. Not just words, actions. We have to make human rights a priority in both U.S. and foreign policies. The most important thing right now is, you guys see it right there, pass the Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act. Pass the Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act. Take tangible steps to end slavery and save lives.
Wow.
Right?
That's my very first time hearing of that country.
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
they're Muslims, and the Chinese have basically just imprisoned them for no reason. I mean, sometimes they'll say there's a reason, but most of the time there is zero reason. And these people this has been happening for a while. A lot of people don't realize it. They even tried to last year, was when that picture of the mass of them sitting on the ground, hands were tied behind them, crisscross on the ground, like blindfolds around them, and then they were being led off onto trains.
Why don't
why
LeBron James go speak with that man?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why don't he is in your same industry, bro?
Right.
You want to get a clear aspect of what slavery is? Go talk to that guy. My goodness, that they sending them to the cotton fields.
Yeah, they do tons of stuff that's forced.
No.
A lot of the stuff that probably Nike. That's one thing. That's why I wanted to actually just basically promote. His name is Enes Kanter. Enes Kanter. Kanter. He's a basketball player for the Boston Celtics. I actually saw him because he had an interview with someone in CNN.
Wow.
And of course, bringing up his issue with Taiwan.
Man, that lady. I'm sorry, you wanted my response. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
The lady they were when she said that they were doing any evil that they thought of. Man, did that brought me just to scripture. I mean, we are in the days of Noah. They are doing in the days of Lot. Men are seeking and doing what they think is good, and I mean, it's evil in their hearts.
Yeah.
And when now for Americans, we see that horrific story, but then we cheer when we see that rapist go to jail. I mean, who's the most hated behind bars? Those guys that do that kind of stuff. And here this lady is.
You'll get jail justice sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
These things are happening in the minds of men around the world. And that needs to come to a stop, man. And if you're sitting there focused on CRT, critical race theory, or if there's so many topics that are just
you want to talk about
irrelevant.
Who's oppressed right
now.
there? Who's actually oppressed? We don't talk about them at all. You didn't even know that they existed.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
We are, like he said, we are the generation of hope, because this what we're doing, what me and Kim are doing right here, getting this out like this. These people have a voice, and they're using it with Mr. Kanter, who is in the NBA. Excuse me, God is using it.
Yes.
With people like Kanter, that this stuff wouldn't be seen in the 60s.
Yeah.
Just 50, 60, 70 years ago, you wouldn't have a clue that this crap was going on.
Yeah.
And it was going on
we need to
to
use
a massive
this new
scale.
Technology for good instead of bad. That's the way that they actually got that video. I'm telling you, if somebody saw it on their phone, they shared it from their phone. It all happens like that from sometimes just your phone. You didn't have that. I didn't have that even growing up as a kid.
This is what James meant. This is what James meant in action.
Yeah.
I am about the salvation is through faith, not through works.
Yeah.
We don't have to go and confess our sins to a priest in another little room. You don't have to work. But your actions, like standing on that field in front of that government, and you controlling your government, that is an action that the Lord wants to see us do.
And people really don't realize, especially in America, how much power we actually have. I really haven't realized up until the last couple of years. I mean, I'm almost 40.
Hey, short, quick plug. Precinct committeemen. Okay, if you're not a part of the war room with Steve Bannon and stuff like that, be a part, because that is something that he is pushing, and I'm seeing it spread. But a precinct committeeman, this is a low level. I mean, but it holds a lot of weight to who is elected. There's no fees or anything like that. You just go to your local Secretary of State or election officials and you ask about becoming a precinct committeeman. And that way, that is our most local level to get engaged in politics. We need our Christian brothers, our preachers, getting into those spots, because when those get filled with God's people, we can make a big difference. So look up precinct committeeman .org or something like that.
Just getting involved, period. If I have a chance to, I even hope to volunteer to do polling at the polling places, because that's going to be
pole dancing.
That's the way that they got caught the last time, is because we actually had people out there looking for people to do that, and they were doing it. So we need more people like that out there.
I'll pole dance.
I better be careful. I'm talking about elections.
I'll just be dancing. I'll be dancing at the polls, man. Just like, yeah. I don't want to know who you're voting for. I already know who you're voting for.
I can look at you and know who you're voting for. I'm sorry. No,
pole dancing.
I really, nowadays, I would be amazed. So many people that you would not think are waking up. And that's kind of why I was bringing that video out, because those are the people that need to be promoted. Those are the people that need to be amplified. Let me just say that his Twitter feed is nothing but that right now. If you go look it up,
man.
And again, I'm going to show this man a little bit later what I've seen from that guy, because I would have had just as many of these from Chip Roy as I would have from showing you how many how he's trying to fight back. I mean, he talks to China, he talks to Nike, and he puts it out there.
Is he Muslim?
I think so. I think he may actually be from
that should just blow your mind, man. That's I am behind you, brother, what you're speaking. You know, but
and I mean he's trying to use
God's using him.
And sisters, I really am curious. I want to look into his story, like if he actually has family members that are missing. Like, I'm really curious, because he keeps saying until my family and my brothers or sisters are rich, and it could be just the Uyghur population that's being, generalized. But
if it's his actual like
someone
that
gets it, someone that gets it, and that's the kind of people that need to be role models. He's obviously seemingly a pretty good role model if he chooses that to stand up for, because how they get real encouraged to let them have basketball shoes that are different, and you notice the ones that he chose. I mean, I just love that he is using that platform nonstop to bring awareness to this. That's what's going to help hopefully more of his team members and more of the NBA, more of the athletes.
It is, because the normies are out there looking at who's wearing the tennis shoes. Oh, does that guy have some Jordans on? Let me see. No, it says Free Uruguay. What country is that?
What does that mean?
Yeah, let me think on that.
I mean, I just love that he's using his platform for good. I don't mind LeBron James being a famous person making a lot of money dribbling a basketball down the court.
Go for it, buddy. Go for it.
But it's when you're trying
make that
to
shot.
Make Big Daddy government.
Don't tell me to get a shot. You make your shot. Don't tell me to get one.
Yeah, LeBron James can go fall down a flight of stairs,
or up one.
I'm not at that point. Okay,
or pull a Biden.
Fall down a flight of pillows. Okay, that way you won't get hurt.
My pillows, Mike Lindell.
Yeah, give me some My Pillows, man. We need to get him some My Pillows. That way, when he falls, when he gets touched and he falls and cries, that he won't
soft,
be hurt. It'll
comfortable
be something
My
soft to
Pillow.
fall on. Okay.
I'm sure Lindell
I had
would.
to pick and choose my words because I almost said something I really shouldn't have said.
That dude don't give a crap about money because he is blowing his.
Yeah, well, he's.
Don't
We're not gonna get into that.
Don't, cause I'm for him. She's not so much, but it's all
For
good.
who?
No, I'm joking. I know you're with Lindell for what he's doing. The way he's doing it,
No. My thing is the messaging because I love Mike
Man.
Lindell. I think he's an awesome person.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that he's lying. I'm thinking it's
No,
probably
not at
truthful.
all,
It's just it's a lot of messaging and it's very confusing and people have to like invest like whole days to like look at
Whole
evidence. And
weekends.
nobody's. You need to get that out to the right person that's going to investigate it because I'm looking at numbers.
I think
and
he's
letters
working
and-
on that. He's working on that behind the scenes.
But I'm not putting him down for it. Also, can it just one little thing? He needs to get a production crew. I mean, I know we're only two people, so I'm not. So we're on that level because we're only two people, and so we're learning as we go. But I kind of could be wrong, but we probably could have given him a better production. So I want to just say, if anybody has tickets to the Reawaken America tour, I believe it's December 9th?
10th, 11th, and 12th.
Yeah, we're going on the
Dallas, Fort Worth.
Dallas, Fort Worth. It'll be at Elevate Life Church. And we are going. We are very excited. There's a whole list of people. I did actually push out a video, so if y'all want to go look at it, it's on our page. I will put a link down to our post to that video.
That's going to be a blast.
And now there's no tickets left for where we're going, but hopefully if you are going, you can send us a message and, at least we would know we got some people from the show.
We would be glad to meet you.
We want to meet you.
Yeah, for real.
No, but seriously, as long as you're not creepy and you want to do bad things, then we're good. We're good. Yeah. I'm gonna be very. I hate to tell you, I'm gonna be packing, but it is Texas. I can actually conceal carry. So this is great. So I can at least be protected. In case I have a Kyle Rittenhouse moment. I'm just saying, I'll be protected.
And she'll protect me too, because I won't be packing.
That's right, but we'll be together the whole time. So you mess with him, you mess with me. Okay.
Cuz got my back, man.
That's right. Back.
Ain't gonna see it.
Yes. Anyways, I want to leave us out with our brand new music video for the Let's Go Brandon Challenge by Bryson Gray. Bryson Gray provided the beats and the hook and the song.
We the rightest rappers alive.
And all he asks is for people to do what they want to with it, put it out there, promote it. So we also have this video on our site, and it also has a link to the track that you can buy for 99
cents. It was fun.
Keep it number one. It's like the third or fourth week in a row now. It's been number one on iTunes charts. Everybody's blown
and his
away
new
by
stuff.
It.
His new stuff that comes out. Y'all put that up because he's got a new one coming up right behind it.
Ding! Thanks YouTube. The next Bryson Gray video is now number 3. So let's keep it going, guys. I think this is great.
Because that wakes up a whole nother aspect of the culture. I mean, it's got to go. It's got to spread. But we were doing stuff like this when there was video cameras and film VHS, trying to match up the music with the video we were making, like Goldberg moments. Yes. I'm serious. Like we were doing that crap.
If we feel really good one day and we feel like we're not going to be embarrassed by it, I may post it.
Never.
This man's already gonna say no.
But anyway, this video we made was fun, y'all. We hope y'all enjoy it because it was one afternoon we just put it together, man. We put the rhymes together and we got a little video out. And
thank you, Bryson Gray, for letting us have a cool little promotional.
Man, that was a blast.
This is an interpretation of what it looks like every time we go and record in the studio. All right, y'all. All right, we're going to sign us out. All right, we'll see y'all next week. Hey, this is coming up. This is coming up on Wednesday. But see you next week.
Let's go, Brandon. Hey.
Don't hit snooze, nothing to lose. We got to go with it hard. feeling abused. They so confused, trying to perfect their SARS. We ain't having it, watching these moms go savage, standing on the truth, and we ain't even from this planet. So let's go, Brandon. I'm rolling down O'Fannin. All my rounders in this town, yeah, we keep them cannons, and yeah, we know you planned it. You can't corrupt this family. The Lord knows what we talking about, so you go change your panties. Now I ain't famished, your boy just getting started, and please believe God's truth gon' be spread regardless. This goes to the heartless, this goes to the smartless. BLM your marks, this week cannons, y'all targets.
Let's go, Brandon. I keep it drawn like I'm Nick Cannon. Hey, hey, let's go, Brandon. I keep it drawn like I'm Nick Cannon. Hey, hey, let's go, Brandon. When you ask questions, they start banning. Hey, hey, let's go, Brandon. Hey, hey, let's go, Brandon. Hey, hey.
Beep, beep. It's time to wake up. The world is changing, and it's time to rise up. Speak the truth. Speak out. Say what's on your mind. The path to victory is speak light and let it shine. Evil thrives in darkness, but I'm here to bring the light. I follow God. Yes, we will win this fight. Speak out, speak up. Stand up for your kids. Show your kids how to stand up and fight for what's real. They said mask your kids and you just stood by. Now they question, am I really a girl or a guy? This climate change hoax push will be a disaster. They'll give your kids up to a whole new master.
Let's go, Brandon. I keep it drawn like I'm Nick Cannon. Hey, hey, let's go, Brandon. I keep it drawn like I'm Nick Cannon. Hey, hey, let's go, Brandon. When you ask questions, they start banning. Hey, hey, let's go, Brandon. Hey, hey, let's go, Brandon. Hey, hey, let's go.